Good morning, everybody. Bruce Jones here, and it is Christmas Eve, and I hope everybody's having a good Christmas. I have my Christmas hat on here, so we're ready to go with that, and have hopefully Merry Christmas and a safe Christmas and all of that stuff for everybody, or whatever holiday you celebrate. So we'll do that. So what I thought I'd do this morning is I'm just going to walk through. I've been working on my book. I've made some more changes to it. I keep making changes to it, but I'm pretty much done with it. What I've added into it is I added some worksheets. It's actually a worksheet section. So the book has some checklists in it that I have put together. And what I have done is I've expanded that section. You'll hear more about that as we move along. Partly this was a result of a great Zoom call we had on marketing about a week ago or so. And one of the questions that was asked was there something to download for the Zoom call? It was on some key steps on marketing. And let's just make sure everything is up and running here. And it just got me thinking. I had a checklist in here, but one of the ways that you can market your book, and what I'm seeing with some of the changes that I see going on with the web and Zoom and how we now interact and using video, is this interactivity of engagement with your audience and having them do something. I had three or four people asked, was there something they were supposed to download for the session? And I went, oh, there really should be something to download. It's a great way to sort of engage with your audience, get them to do things. And I've been testing some of the Bruce TV stuff with some of my coloring books, where I put up in fact, I'll show you what I've done over here. Let me just go over here to my, let's just turn this on. My thing is really coming around, but I think there's a couple big trends that are happening. And with the advent of the acceptability of Zoom and the resistance dropping for using online video to talk about stuff, to get engaged. If you want to be part of the world, you need to be part of sort of use and understand Zoom. And that's opening up, I think, enormous opportunities for anybody who has products like books and things and wants to market them. You can get engagement with people, and also the selling of products. I've noticed as I do my broadcasts, I can sell, and people buy my books. If you want to pick up this new book right here in the PDF form, there's a link above and there's a link below somewhere, depending where you're seeing this. And you can pick up a copy of it. But what I'm seeing is I did some test broadcasts where I used some of my other books, did some talking about them, engaging with them. And you'll see on my website now, I've set up, this was my book page where I just listed books. I think everybody, if you have a website, an author site, you should have your books. And I set up and did a live broadcast. And then over here, notice there's a little button right here. And if you click this button, it will download some coloring sheets to work with. This could be worksheets if you're running a course. It could be any kind of worksheet. This just happened to be coloring sheets. Some people downloaded them and colored along as I did the broadcast. And so it's kind of gotten me really thinking about how we market, what we can do with our products. And it's made me switch some of this around to add more engagement in it, so that I can use this in this manner, so that if people buy my book or they go download the PDF, which is what the links, there's also a worksheet, a workbook basically built into the book. That's what I've done. I made a change. So what I thought I'd do today is just walk through. I'm now ready to move from, clicking all my buttons here. I'm now ready to move from the edited copy to the final launch copy, and put that up on Amazon. So I'm going to try to do that publicly. So it does a number of things. One, it shows people what steps are, what I'm doing, and to take you along on that journey. But also, hopefully, maybe you can do some with your book. You can see what some of the steps are that are necessary to do. And most of this is highlighted in this book that I'm going to be doing. So I'm sort of just doing the things that I talk about in my own book and move them out. So what are some of the steps? And I actually did post a picture. It's actually right below. Let me go back to here for a second. Right here, I put a picture up of my sort of game plan, right? We're going to just kind of walk through this, and I'm just going to tell you all the different steps that I plan to do, and I'm going to try to do this as publicly as I can, so people can follow along and you can kind of do it. So, all right. So, what you do? This is now basically finished. It's been edited several times. I had a friend of mine came in and did a great proofreading job on it. So I think it's ready to go. And now we have to move from a PDF version and a spiral bound version to a printed version. So next step is finish the book. So I think I've done that. So I'm just going to put it up here. Finish the book. So any final things, make sure the table of contents is right, all that kind of stuff. Just make sure that the nuts and bolts are all done with the book. One of the steps that I highly recommend to do is to take your PDF version when you have it like this. And if anybody has a comment, just weigh in. This is sort of, it can be interactive. We can talk about it. Is go to Staples when it's safe. Go to Staples, print it out like I did here. This is just on the self-serve copier. Let's see if we have anybody here. Put a have a color, in color. Have a spiral bound put on it, a plastic version put on it, and now you have something to look at, and you can review this. Do things make sense? Does it flow right? You can kind of flip through it. Are things lined up correctly? Are the pages in the right order? All that kind of stuff. You see so many more things when you print a copy. So I'm going to say a Staples copy right here. So it doesn't cost that much, and I think it's an invaluable step. It really gives you something. It also allows you, as you're starting to do your marketing, you have something to work with. You can hold this up, right? This is actually 2 or 3 steps back, but to most people, this is just fine. Even the cover got messed up on their machines, printing out the PDF. It doesn't really look like this. It's all gradated, but it gives you something to work with. So I really recommend it. And I always recommend buying a copy of your book, but this in lieu of that, this is perfect. So I'm going to do a demonstration on making the cover. So we're going to do here, make cover. I already made the cover. Make the cover. I'm going to demonstrate how I do that. It'll be in a broadcast coming up. I'll just take you through how many pages, how I set up the file. It's always something that people stumble over. So I'm going to show that. That's a key step in the making of the book. Print books, you need to make a cover that has a front and a back, like that, cover spread. And for Kindle, it's just the front cover. But you can use this file and then just cut off the back to make that file. Okay. Then we're going to make the KDP version. So we're going to move from the print version's done, and we're going to move to the KDP version. That's the ebook. So the ebook version, and I always recommend doing both versions if you can of your books. If you have one done, it's easy to move to the other one because basically it's the same files. You just reconfigure it a little bit, and I like finishing things in the printed version. That's where I solve all my design problems and get all that stuff done. And then I move over, take those files out and move over to the ebook version. For this book, I'm going to show 2 different ways to do it. This is going to be a flowable text, but I'm going to show the PDF version and the text version. I'm going to publish the text version so it flows, but I'm going to show you how to make a PDF version. And anybody who's doing a cookbook or children's book, the PDF version of your Kindle ebook is the one you would do. It's pretty easy to do. I did it in the last book, but then I changed my mind and made a flowable text version of the book, because then the table of contents, all that kind of stuff, all flows together. So, but I'm going to do a live demo. I'm going to sort of do some of those steps live so you can kind of see them. So part of that process is taking all the text out of the book. So there's a text stage. There's a organize your images. And now with KDP, KDP books, we use the same images, the same resolution, 300 dot per inch images are on both books. So you can make one image and use it in both places. Generally what I do is I will shrink the ones with the KDP down a little bit, but you can use exactly the same one. So I'm going to do a broadcast on how I do that and how I set it up, especially a book like this that is just filled with illustrations. So it's going to take a little while for me to undo this book. But basically you take it apart, images, text, and then put it back together in Word. And that's the file that gets loaded up. So let's see, PDF, organize the images. So I have all those ready to go, but they're all pretty much set, just have to be shrunk a little bit. And then make a Word file. Then we put all that into Word with images, text, and that's what will be uploaded and put into Kindle Create. Kindle Create. So this is the step. These are the steps that go into making the ebook version of it. And if you have not used Kindle Create, it's a fantastic program. It's my preferred way to make all the ebooks that I make now. Is I use Kindle Create. It takes, you sort of organize it, put it in Word, put it in Kindle Create, use the styles, assign it different things, and you have a fantastic book. It's so easy to do. And if you organize it right, your table of contents is created, all of that. Especially that was always a challenge on the Mac, was making your table of contents on the Mac Word. It just was a pain. It's not a pain anymore. So that's a step to do. All right, so that will make that, and we'll make that file, and that makes a KPF file. Then we're going to move to, I'm going to start getting ready for the launch. And what do I do for the launch? I always recommend have a media kit. So we'll show you how I make a media kit. And a media kit is just a collection of some cover shots, your shots of you, maybe holding your book description, your book bio, the links, just all the elements that you're going to need when you come to launch your book. It becomes very useful because you can just pull from this library of stuff when you do your book launch, or if you have people helping you or somebody's going to be interviewing you, you can set that up. So I'll be sort of building that, and then also building a media page on my website. So at the moment, let me just go over to there. So I'm going to use my redesign, my reconfigured Bruce Jones Design site. And right at the moment, this book is sitting right here in books. It's right here. So I'm going to replace that graphic with the correct new cover, which is these colors are flipped, but also make a page for the book. We'll be talking about that. In my About section, I've set up an interview page. So I'll have a media page for the book, and also some stuff on the interview page. So anybody who wants to interview me, just reach out. I did this on the last launch, and it was fantastic. It was a great way to market your book. And so during that process, you're starting your launch process, your media, getting your media all lined up, getting interviews lined up, all that kind of stuff. So I'll be reconfiguring my interview page on my site for my new book, getting all those parts made. So there's a lot of sort of behind the scenes stuff that people don't usually see when you're doing a book launch. I'm going to try to show all that stuff. So if you go to Bruce Jones Design, you can just sort of follow me there. I'll be doing some videos and we're posting about it. So, all right, so let's come back. But that's the media kit. I really emphasize, I have a section in here on the media kit. What are the elements? I just redid that whole section with some samples that you can see of how to sort of put together your media kit. It just gives you the tools, and that's an important part of marketing your book. All right, so media kit, let's see, creation of the media kit on Bruce Jones Design. Let's put a J in there, Bruce Jones Design website. As I recommend and talk about, you want some home online where you can center everything around, and that should be your website. So then we'll create some posts, create posts. So my philosophy is to create some noise and awareness about your book, put some posts out, spread stuff around, make sure there's good links going back and forth, and I'll talk about doing that as I get ready to launch the book. Set up interviews. Oops, set up. So as I said, anybody who wants to interview me on this book, so this is part of the process, is just basically ask for interviews. I did this on the last launch, is I just asked for interviews. So anybody who wants to do that, I've set up interviewbruce.com. You can interviewbruce.com. You can go there. It actually just comes to my website at the moment, but it's you can just reach out to me, and we can talk about that and do it. I'd love to do any interviews. So it's partly we're just asking for stuff, and the interview process is very helpful for getting your message out and spreading around. It's part of sort of the virtual book launch, virtual book tour that you can kind of create, and that's partly doing posts, that's partly doing interviews, and get yourself out there, get all lined up for launch day. All right, so set up interviews, set up launch calendar. Okay, so this one, I did this the last time, DAR, launch calendar, built a launch calendar, and it just gets, as you get closer to the launch, and I'm planning on launching somewhere near the end of January, so I have some time to get all this stuff ready. The launch calendar just helps you organize what things should come. All of these things are in steps, and it can be flexible and move around, but it just gives you some ability to sort of control and see what's going on. So that's an important thing to do, is come up with your launch calendar. And I've got that on here, sort of starting the beginnings of that process. All right, launch calendar, and now we have, we're going to upload the book. So upload to Amazon. So I am a big fan of don't try to time your book launch with your uploading of your books. Upload your book way before, several weeks before you're actually doing your launch, and that way everything is working. You can go and buy a book. It's basically a soft launch. It's up there. Nobody's really noticing it. You're just sort of starting to line all the ducks up in a row, but when you come to launch date and you do your launch, that everything is working. All the books are in the right place, because things do get messed up. And with Amazon being sort of crazed at the moment with the demand of enormous amount of demand going on, they are behind on a lot of things. So even getting books to you can get your single book, but if you're going to have a stack of books or do something, those calendars have moved way out. So you want to make sure everything is functioning, it's up and it's going. This is always something that sort of messes people up too, is walking through it. I have a listing here on what things you need to do. So upload your book, buy a copy. So as I said, buy a copy. When you buy a copy, it gets the cataloging stuff going. You can get your ranking starting. It sort of gets the whole system sort of moving along, gets things flowing. So, and then you have a book. You can also show a book. A real book is better than this book, and you can hold it up and talk about it. So that's a key thing to do. Launch day. All right, so I'll have to pick a date. But I'm doing some of what you're seeing today, and what you're going to see are some of the prep work to tell people that something is coming. You don't want to just sort of surprise people that, hey, here's my book. You sort of build towards it. You kind of do a lot of different things to kind of move people towards a certain date. I don't have that launch date yet, probably the end of January somewhere. I'll just put it in here. And but it's coming, and so there you go. There's the announcement. Also puts the pressure on me to get this all done, like set a date and move towards that date. That's why the calendar is really good. Start working on my social media. So Facebook, Twitter, my blog, Pinterest, all of these sites either have stuff being posted or have it ready to go. Have my graphics ready, have my sample text ready, my little blogs. If I can build a And I did a launch team last time. If people are interested in being part of a launch team to help sort of do things out, it can be really helpful. And we'll talk a little bit more of that in a couple weeks or so. But we'll need to, purchase. That's a launch team will make those initial purchases of your book. That's one of the things, and they do some reviews. So a launch team can be. Let's put that right in here. So the launch team, if you're interested, let me know. Again, reach out. You can put comments below, and love to have you on part of the launch team. But we can sort of start now, and we can do some Zoom calls around that. That'd be kind of fun. Broadcast, I'm using StreamYard. So StreamYard broadcasts. And so this is what I'm using at the moment, which allows me to do things like this, or like this, or to put up my banner like this, all kinds of stuff. The little graphic that you see like that, right there, that graphic, that's part of StreamYard. Just gives me a lot of capabilities and flexibility to do overlays and graphics and stream to different platforms. So that's what I'm using to do this. So other things to do, fix my Facebook header file. Also, this is all part of a course that the book has some bonuses that will come with it if people want to buy the PDF. So, and I know what I'm going to be doing for those. So it's not too crazy. It's just a few videos explaining initial launch stuff. But so there's some video. Video training that I need to get done, and I decided not to do too much of it because it's get overwhelmed. Finish the Gumroad site, and as you know, you can go to, let's see here. So you can, the product is above or below, and it is here on Gumroad, so you can pick that up. I've sort of been reworking this so it's a little bit better. You can see things aren't quite as messy anymore. It's what's inside of the book is now in here. This was the broadcast we did last week, which was really a lot of fun. A Zoom call on marketing. So some basic 3 lessons. I'll probably take this stuff out, put this video here. So it's really just reorganizing this, put in the packages that will the video thing, so you can buy the book, or you can buy the book plus the packages. So that's getting that stuff. There's a lot of pieces to do. Is you're trying to sort of move all this through the process. Also going to just try to do some broadcasts. I'm going to try to do broadcasts on many of these things so that you can see what I do, and then you can learn and try to do some of the same things. But also going to do some stuff on teaching out of the book. So take sections of this book and teach it. I haven't figured out totally how I'm doing that yet, but we'll be doing that. Let's see, anything else that's in here? So I think that's enough. This is enough for a month of work to get all the book going. So but basically it's finish the book up, which is just about done. I just have to, because I added some stuff. My table of contents is wrong. Make a Staples cover, make the cover. I'll be doing that live. KDP version of the book, take you through that, how I make that. That's thing. This is an area that messes people up a lot. Build my media kit, show that. Get my website media kit page set up so I can show you how I do that. Create a post, set up some interviews. Again, anybody who wants to interview me, just reach out through Facebook or go to interviewbruce.com. Anybody can grab that link now. Your link is probably available. If you are going to be doing things and you want people to interview you, go and register, interview whatever name you have. Interview John, interview Sue. It just makes a very easy name. At the moment, it's just going to my website, and you can reach me there. It just goes to my contact page, but often people send it to a Calendarly link so people can set up and connect and all that kind of stuff. Build my launch calendar. So start doing that. And that'll be this sort of messy document of things moving around. Get things ready for Amazon, upload the book, pick a date for launch day. Once I know all this is set, then I'm trying to make my launch date as non-stress as I can. work on my social media, doing my broadcasts. People want to be a part of a launch team, let me know, and I'll be talking more about that. Do some more social media graphics with my Facebook header and that kind of stuff, some video training. So that's it. That's all the stuff to take this book from here, from where it is now, to a book on Amazon, a live book, and it's out there. And much of the stuff that's in here, I'm going to be doing. This is all stuff that I talk about of making awareness for the book and build some noise and stuff like that. So, all right, that's it. I think that's all the parts, and we go from there. If you're interested in the book, it's in pretty good shape right now. Yeah, it's in really good shape. I'm just going to do the table of contents stuff this morning. It'll be reloaded up into the group. I keep changing and updating the versions of the book, so it's getting better and better. And then we start on all this stuff. So, all right, so hope everybody has a great holiday, good safe holiday, and enjoy the weather. I think we're getting rain here, and we will talk to you soon as I work my way through all of this. All right, talk to you soon. All right.